Hey guys, welcome back. We have another interview with another tournament after the seasonals and before Worlds. And with me, I have none other than the winner of Squibby, GG Tour, and Duckling, Runeterra Showdown, none other than ZacTCG. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, doing good, doing good.
Alright. You are kind of a fresh face as well, and I keep seeing fresh faces winning tournaments, and that is amazing because the scene is growing. So could you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Like what are you doing outside of LOR and what's your background with card games?
So right now I'm 17. I'm a high school student. Doing that a lot. I have a part-time job as well. And then I started playing Pokemon around when I was 14. So come from that area. And over the COVID online era, I was looking for some other card games to play, and I found LOR and fell in love with it.
Nice. Did you actually get to play Pokemon competitively or participate in tournaments, or did you just play it for fun with friends?
No, and I play for tournaments. I've been to Australia, Brazil, all over the world
Wow.
playing Pokemon.
Wow. Did you win any major event?
I won a event in Seattle, and I placed top 8 at an event in Collinsville, Illinois, right before COVID hit. Those are my two biggest accomplishments.
So we actually have a champion with a background. And did any of your skills in Pokemon help you get better in LR, or did any of them make use in LR?
I'm not really sure. I think LOR is a very different game, and the mechanics are just so different that it's hard to compare them between games.
Is there no similarity? I'm asking you because I did not play Pokemon TCG
Yeah,
before.
yeah. There's really not very much similarity at all in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get hooked on LR? What is the reason that keeps you playing since they are
Uh,
different
well,
games?
I mean, I played League before, obviously. I played TFT, played all of those games, so like I'm already familiar with Riot. And I just looking for games, found this one, and I really like the system mainly of you can do stuff while your opponent's playing, kind of. Because like in Pokemon, it's just back and forth. Each person takes one turn back and forth. But in LOR, it's just like a constant game where you're always doing something. That's the biggest part that keeps me hooked on it.
Nice. I mean, you're not playing the best single player card game ever, like other card
Yeah,
games, digital card games are, and
yeah.
that's fun about LOR. But the, for how long are you playing Hearthstone? Not Hearthstone. Whoa, not that one. We're not talking about that one. For how long are you playing LOR competitively, let's say, or when was your first participation in an LOR tournament?
I this is my first like tournament online, but I've been playing like laddering and stuff since the start of the Shurima expansion. That's when I started actually playing the game.
And what made you enter this tournament? Like, did you have any reason in
Well,
particular?
no, I just had off work the weekend, saw the tournament on Twitter, and decided, you know what, we'll just play.
Just play and just casually win a tournament. I love it. Alright, let's move over to the juice because that's why people are around here. They are here to talk about the decks, and first and foremost, Zoe Lee Sin. I'll still keep naming this one Have the Dragon combo because it's still heavily reliant, I think, on Have the Dragon. So why did we decide to bring this one to the tournament when people maybe are trying something new or they are falling off the Zoe Lee Sin train?
So I think Zoe Lee is honestly just a strong deck and has a big chance to beat everything besides Aurelia Azir. It's just really strong and can beat most decks.
So, what did you have in mind when you brought this deck to the tournament? Like, why did we bring it to the tournament?
The biggest deck we're trying to counter was Scion Draven. That was one of the biggest decks, and this match is very favorable versus Scion. Um, Other like all the new decks really struggle with Lee, and I wasn't really expecting a lot of people to bring Mini Morph since it wasn't really in the meta, so I was thinking it was a safe call for the event.
Alright, does your version have anything special about it? Maybe in terms of the ratios, because by looking at it, I cannot really identify something special. Maybe the one of Bastion that jumps out of the ordinary.
I think the only thing is putting the Fey Folk in there. Some people don't play those. Those were for my because I expected the meta to be more aggro central, just because it's brand new expansion. And then also the scattered pods. I don't know if people play those a lot, but those are also in there for the new Aloof Travelers to have a more expensive card than Lee Sin, so you have protection for your Lee Sin in your hand.
And did Scatterpod actually get discarded and Lee Sin got to stay in the hand
It
in
did
a game?
not. I had Lee Sin get discarded multiple times, never drew the pod to protect me.
Is it at this point a tech if they never show up when you need them?
Yeah, I mean, in the finals, I had both pods show up, but no Lee Sin show up.
Outside of the use for the obviously Aloof Travelers discard, why else is Scatterpod so good in this deck, or why is it working in the deck?
Well, it's also a guaranteed tutor for Zenith Blade, which is good. If you pick slow, you're always guaranteed to get Zenith Blade. And you can pick Burst, maybe get Gifts from Beyond, get any of your cycle cards, just draw cards. And then when you're elusive, it can help you not have to get as much damage for Lee Sin for the OTK, because they can push that extra 5 damage maybe if they don't have any elusive blockers.
Alright, so we're kind of moving towards that OTK bit by bit because we're reaching
Yep.
Raptors at some point. Interesting.
Yep.
You said that some people do not play Tasty Faithful. I did see people not playing Tasty Faithful, so what's the reasoning for you running it into the deck?
Draven Scion mainly. That's a big part of the meta, I think, going into this event, and Feyfolk really helps you in that matchup staying alive.
For example, do you just hash maybe a Draven and then you just block it?
Yep, you can hush a Draven, block into it. You can block into anything. You can even use Sonic Wave to drag up something and kill it with Feyfolk. Just it's a very versatile card that just 4 attack lifesteal. It's very good.
So this deck was basically Draven Scion just go away.
Yeah, basically.
Did you have any other decks in mind when you put this one into the lineup, or was it mainly Draven Scion?
I mean, the main deck for the whole meta I had in mind was Draven Scion, but mainly Lee was just there because I just think it's consistently can beat everything, including Sivir Demacia, Sivir Ionia, all the strong decks. I just think it has a chance against everything, which is why it's like an all-rounded deck.
Did you actually get to play against a prank deck maybe? Because people were talking about, all right, prank decks are going to be a menace for the meta, same for Aloof Traveler, so did you get to play against prank?
I did not hit any prank decks in the event.
Lucky you, what can I say? Alright, let's move forward then to another deck that is part of the old meta, still consistent, still making waves. Anivia Control. Again, why are we bringing this one? Draven Scion as well?
Draven Scion, other aggro decks mainly. Mainly, yeah, stopping Draven Scion, stopping other aggro decks. It has an okay matchup into Sivir Demacia also, which was another deck I was trying to beat.
And same question, does your version have anything out of the ordinary? Because I only see one new card and the core is kind of
there's actually only one new card in all of the decks, which is the one Piercing Darkness in this deck. But it's a pretty standard list, I think.
Does Piercing Darkness find value, or how does Piercing Darkness find value into the deck? Why did you put it in the deck? What did you have in mind?
It's just like a heal 5 basically, which was the main reason. It can just you can ping off Rune Runner Spell Shield with Anivia, he'll drain 5 from it. You can just drain 5 from anything and get more healing back.
Mm-hmm.
I was debating between it and Withering Mist, but I decided trying to nuke a bigger target was better than the spread since you already had all the whales and stuff to get rid of multiple units.
Is there any argument to play Piercing Darkness and just not play another Vengeance because they basically do the same thing?
I think the only argument would be just into an aggro meta, just getting that drain to stay alive longer also.
Mm-hmm. And you said you wanted to nuke a bigger target. Weren't you scared that there might be some swarmy decks, so you would have needed Withering Mist instead of the Piercing Darkness?
Yeah, like elusives and stuff, there was a chance Withering Mist could be better than Piercing Darkness. In the end, I decided I wanted a better matchup versus Sivir Demacia, so I played Darkness instead of Mist.
I understand. Any decks that you were scared you might be facing with this deck coming into the tournament?
I mean, Irelia, Azir, all of my decks lose to it. Just immediately hit that one with the ban. But really nothing else. Yeah, really nothing else.
Alright, a lineup that was consistent through and through, unless we will see A0, and I think we won't be seeing it for a lot of time since the hotfix for Worlds is
Yeah.
breaking the deck. Alright, let's move forward to the last deck, which is Viego Ionia, and I can say I did not see this one win a tournament in a long time. Again, why did we bring it to the tournament? Why are we trying to revive old gods?
Um, the deck's just strong, I decided. I don't like. It's good to aggro. The Sivir Demacia matchup is kind of sketchy, but it's just like a strong overall deck when you get Viego down.
Well, any other reason for bringing the deck? Like, did you have any matchup as well in mind when you try to bring it besides Revensign, which your lineup targets?
I don't really think I had any matchup in mind, just besides the deck strong and aligned. Um, like I was working on this lineup with my friend the night before, so and then I went to go take a test in the morning, so I wasn't actually able to practice at all. So I just kind of figured what was good would probably be good into an undeveloped meta. So what was already good from last season might just still be good.
Mm-hmm. But this deck is not that easy to pilot. I think you would agree with me on this one. So
Yes.
would you give people any advice on how to pilot Viego Ionia in this meta, in this specific meta, from what you faced, what you've learned after the tournament?
Um, I think you have to practice the deck a lot. I think you also have to play, unlike most Shadow Isles deck, you got like old decks like Thresh Gnosis and stuff. You have to play much more conservatively than them. It's hard to just aggro down your opponent. You want to play for Viego's level up, obviously. It's very, very good. You want to play to just get multiple Hydrovine out. And you just mainly want to play to control the board with lots of big units.
Mm-hmm. So mainly just passing being the reactive deck overall. That
Yep.
would be nice for people to know. So we have been talking about your deck. So the lineup overall, what was it countering besides Raven Sign as we mentioned? Or is it just a good lineup with strong decks?
It's just a good lineup with strong decks mainly, and it's just they all beat aggro pretty much. So it was basically just beating aggro and just having 3 decks that are strong, tested, just not like brand new decks that I have no idea what I'm doing with them.
You mentioned that this is a strong lineup, right? Because it's tested and trusted.
Yeah.
You kind of had an idea what you are going to go into the tournament. But did you face any surprise lineup or maybe any surprise deck that you didn't expect to see at all?
Caitlyn Ezreal was something I faced twice, the same exact list that I did not expect to see. I assumed that would be more run Draven Ezreal or Caitlyn Draven. I did not expect Caitlyn Ezreal to be the choice
Are we
there.
talking about Caitlyn Ezreal with Noxus Splash?
Yes.
Right, and how did you pair into that one since it was a kind of a surprise?
I lost to it. I actually lost my first round to it. I was not able to beat it, and then also lost to, I believe, the Lee Mirror in my first round. And then I was able to beat it in a later round just because Lee Sin's very good into it, and my opponent did not ban Lee Sin, mainly.
Mhm. Did you get any info out of the first match that helped you get your win into the next one?
Um, Not really. I mean, I kind of understood the deck. It was just his ban was also correct. A lot of people did not ban Lee Sin, which kind of surprised me. I think that deck's very strong, and I think it was a mistake for a lot of people to not ban it. Banning other decks like that I didn't maybe want to play against, like Anivia and stuff, instead of banning just the strongest deck on the table there.
It might have been also kind of a testing ground for them, right?
Yep.
Because they wanted to see how the new decks fare into Lee
Yep.
Sin, and why not just test it? But you had the more
Yep.
consistent deck, you just
hmm
won. So, do you have any plans of joining any tournaments in the future, actually?
I mean, whenever I can, I would join a tournament probably.
Awesome.
Like,
And you mentioned that you prepared with a friend. Did anyone else actually help you practice for this tournament? Because if they did, it's time for them to receive a proper shout out.
just my one friend, Caleb Rogerson. He's amazing. My best friend. He basically built the whole lineup for me, tested it for me. He did all the work, honestly. I'm just here.
Why did they not participate in the tournament if they hooked you
They
up with
did.
such a...
They went 5-2 in the tournament.
Oh, so they were a
Yeah.
little bit
Yep.
more unlucky.
Yep.
Well, that's the life of a tournament. Sometimes
Yep.
they have it. We are drawing near the end of the interview, and we have this one traditional question that we're asking the people, and that is, if you had to say only one thing to the audience that is now watching, which one would that be?
I mean, I would say if you're playing in tournaments, ban Lee Sin. That's my main thing. I think the deck's incredibly overpowered right now into a tournament meta.
Awesome. So just ban listen or lose it because it's already a refined, tested, and
Yep.
trusted deck. Thank you for the
Yep.
interview. Thank you for being around, and we hope that we're going to see you around for other tournaments if you still keep on playing.
Okay, thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was it for this interview. Stay tuned because we're going to have a few Worlds Qualifiers and we're going to provide you with more interviews. So see you next time.